The warning lights flashed red across every screen in the Kuiper Belt monitoring station. Tom Miller, the night shift operator, blinked twice to make sure he wasn't seeing things. In his 15 years of watching deep space, he had never seen patterns like these. "Control, this is Station KB7, he said, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "We have multiple anomalies in sectors 14 through 22. Something's moving out there. Something big." The response came back instantly. "Copy KB7. Data received. Stand by for command authorization." Within minutes, the encrypted message reached the desk of Commander Jack Thompson at United Earth Defense Force headquarters, buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. The commander studied the holographic display showing the disturbed patterns in the Kuiper Belt, his weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of the projection. "How many outposts have gone dark?" he asked, not looking up from the display. His second-in-command, Lieutenant Rogers, cleared his throat. "7 in the last month, sir. All beyond Mars. No distress signals, no debris. They just vanished." Thompson stood up, his tall frame casting a long shadow across the command center. The loss of research outposts had been carefully kept from public knowledge, but now the pattern was becoming impossible to ignore. Something was systematically eliminating human presence in the outer solar system. "Show me the beacon data," Thompson ordered. The holographic display shifted, revealing dozens of points of light scattered across the solar system. These ancient warning beacons had been discovered decades ago, remnants of some long-lost civilization. For years, they had remained dormant, their purpose unknown. Now, one by one, they were waking up. "Sir," Rogers said, his voice dropping to a whisper, "the analysis team thinks we're being tested." Thompson nodded slowly. He had suspected as much. The patterns were too deliberate, too precise to be natural phenomena. "They're watching us, aren't they? Studying our responses." "Yes, sir." The way the outposts were taken, it was strategic. Each loss reveals something about our capabilities, our protocols. Rogers handed over a tablet displaying classified reports. "We've detected energy signatures matching known patterns from 3 other star systems. Systems where developing civilizations suddenly went silent." Thompson walked to the massive window overlooking the underground chamber where Earth's real space fleet was being assembled. Not the public-facing ships that carried the UN banner, but the true defenders of humanity. Vessels built with technology that would shock even their most advanced allies. "How long have we known?" Thompson asked, although he already knew the answer. "The first signs appeared 50 years ago," Rogers replied. "The previous commander initiated the Watchman Protocol. Everything since then, our public space program, our apparent technological level, it's all been carefully crafted to make us appear less advanced than we are." A young analyst rushed into the room, her face pale. "Commander, the beacon in Sector 17 just transmitted a full data burst. We've decoded it." She handed over another tablet, her hands shaking slightly. Thompson read the message, his expression hardening. The beacons weren't just warnings. They were a record, a history of what happened to civilizations that failed the test. The pattern was always the same: observation, testing, and then judgment. "Sir," Rogers said, "what are your orders?" Thompson placed both tablets on his desk and turned to face his officers. "Implement Phase 1 of the Oracle Protocol. It's time to let our observers know that we see them too." He paused, allowing himself a small smile. "And inform all commands. Operation Looking Glass is now active." Across the solar system, hidden installations began powering up. Quantum entanglement communicators, previously running at minimal power, surged to full capacity. In secret bases on Mars, Europa, and Titan, advanced weapon systems emerged from their camouflaged bunkers. The observers watching Earth from the darkness of space noted these activities, but they misinterpreted what they saw. They recorded the movements as desperate, reactionary, exactly as humans wanted them to think. What these ancient watchers didn't know What humanity had spent 50 years carefully hiding was that Earth was not prey discovering a predator. They were the hunters who had long known the predator was coming, and they had prepared accordingly. The game was beginning, but the rules were not what the observers thought they were. Humanity was ready, and they were about to change the rules entirely. The probe drifted silently through Jupiter's orbit, its metallic surface reflecting the distant sunlight. To most observers, it would have appeared to be just another piece of space debris. But the crew of the USS Nighthawk knew better. "Target acquired," reported Mark Wilson, the ship's sensor officer. "Definitely not one of ours. Same design as the others." Captain Lisa Reed watched from her command chair as her stealth vessel tracked the alien probe. The Nighthawk was officially listed as a simple maintenance ship. In reality, it was one of Earth's most advanced interceptors, designed to operate completely undetected. "That's the 5th one this week," she noted. "They're getting bolder." She turned to her communications officer. "Send the data to command. Full spectrum analysis." At UEDF headquarters, Commander Thompson studied the incoming reports. The probes were part of something bigger, an assessment protocol used by what they now knew was called the Collective. Each probe tested different aspects of human civilization: technological advancement, military response, social cohesion. The translation team has finished analyzing the data from the last intercept, Lieutenant Rogers announced, bringing up a holographic display. "It's concerning, sir." The display showed records of other civilizations, dozens of them, each subjected to the same series of tests. Those that failed were marked with a simple red X. There were a lot of red X's. "Look at the pattern," Thompson said, pointing to the dates. "Every civilization that showed rapid advancement in the last 1,000 years, all eliminated." He paused, studying one particular entry. They considered them threats to galactic stability. "And us?" Rogers asked. "According to their metrics, we're classified as potentially dangerous but containable." Thompson allowed himself a grim smile. "They have no idea." In a secure conference room 50 levels below, Earth's top military and scientific leaders gathered around a massive table. The room was completely shielded from any form of surveillance, its walls lined with quantum dampening fields. Dr. James White, head of Project Oracle, stood to deliver his report. "The Collective's technology is advanced, but not as advanced as they want us to believe." He gestured to a series of diagrams. "They rely heavily on intimidation through superior numbers. Their actual technological edge is perhaps 50 years ahead of what we publicly show." "And compared to our real capabilities?" asked one of the generals. "We're ahead in several key areas," Dr. White replied. "Our quantum communications, stealth systems, and energy weapons are more advanced. We've just been very careful not to show it." The meeting was interrupted by an urgent message. Another research station had gone dark, this time near Saturn. But unlike the previous attacks, this station had managed to transmit a final message. The room fell silent as they played the transmission. The station's commander appeared on screen, remarkably calm despite the situation. "They're testing our response times. Don't show them everything. Remember Protocol 7. The transmission ended with a brief glimpse of a massive ship, its design matching the ancient warning beacons. Commander Thompson stood up. "They're escalating, moving from observation to direct testing." He faced the assembled leaders. "It's time for Phase 2. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden strength stirred to life. The Ghost Fleet, ships that could vanish completely from any form of detection, moved into predetermined positions. Quantum-linked defense networks activated, creating an invisible web of sensors and weapons. But most importantly, the data they allowed the Collective to collect continued to paint the picture they wanted. A young, somewhat disorganized species, just beginning to venture into space. The occasional glimpse of advanced technology was carefully staged to appear as lucky breakthroughs rather than parts of a comprehensive defense system. In the depths of space, the collective's probes continued their assessment, recording everything they saw. Their reports spoke of a species that showed potential but lacked unity and advanced technological understanding. They noted Earth's apparent scramble to respond to their presence, interpreting it as fear rather than what it really was, a carefully choreographed performance. The stage was set. The warning signs were clear, but the warning wasn't for humanity. It was for those who thought Earth would be an easy target. The real question was, how long would humanity let this game continue before showing their true strength? The United Nations Security Council chamber had never been so full. For the first time in history, every world leader was present, meeting in secret beneath the reinforced bunkers of the New York complex. The usual political divisions were gone, replaced by a single, shared purpose. Commander Thompson stood at the podium, his voice echoing through the chamber. "Ladies and gentlemen, the time for pretense is over. The collective will make official contact within the month. We need to be ready." The screens behind him showed real-time feeds from across the solar system. Hidden military bases, secretly built over decades, were now powering up. What appeared to be simple mining operations on Mars transformed as massive hangar doors opened in the red soil, revealing squadrons of advanced ships. "For 50 years, Thompson continued, we've maintained the illusion of division. We've let them think Earth's nations can barely cooperate." He pressed a button, and the chamber's lights dimmed. A holographic map of Earth appeared, showing a web of underground facilities connected by high-speed transit tubes. "In reality, we've been unified longer than anyone suspects." The President of the United States stood up. "Operation Unity is authorized. All forces are now under UEDF command." One by one, each world leader stood, repeating the same phrase. The political theater of international rivalry, maintained for decades to fool alien observers, was finally being set aside. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, the Quantum Entanglement Communication Hub activated its full power for the first time. Instant, untraceable communication became available across the entire solar system. In high orbit, satellites that appeared to be simple weather stations revealed their true nature, transforming into advanced defense platforms. At Luna Base, officially Earth's most advanced military installation, Commander Thompson met with Captain Reed of the Nighthawk. They stood at a viewport, watching as ships departed the base. "The Ghost Fleet is ready," Reed reported. "All 50 ships are crewed and armed." Thompson nodded. "And the collective's probes, still watching Luna Base, just as we planned. They think this is our main military force." Reed smiled. "They have no idea about the other bases." The Ghost Fleet was humanity's masterpiece. Ships that could vanish completely, using technology that Earth shouldn't have for another century. Each vessel carried weapons that could match anything the collective had shown, and a few they hadn't. In the asteroid belt, mining operations suddenly stopped. The huge machines, supposedly collecting rare metals, transformed. What looked like drills and processing equipment combined into massive defense stations, creating a web of firepower that could trap any hostile fleet. Back on Earth, in the Rocky Mountain Command Center, Lieutenant Rogers coordinated the global preparation. "All stealth systems are functioning perfectly, sir," he reported to Thompson via quantum link. "The collective's probes are only seeing what we want them to see." "And Project Oracle?" Thompson asked. Dr. White reports all systems are green. "The planetary shield network is ready but completely hidden. As far as the collective knows, we're still struggling with basic fusion power." In orbit around Jupiter, the real extent of human preparation became clear. Entire moons had been hollowed out and turned into forward bases. Ships that dwarfed anything Earth officially possessed waited in hidden docks. Weapon systems that could reshape the solar system itself stood ready. But most importantly, humanity's greatest weapon remained intact: surprise. The collective still believed they were watching a young, barely united species. Their probes reported seeing exactly what humanity wanted them to see: a civilization scrambling to prepare for first contact, showing occasional flashes of advanced technology that seemed more like lucky accidents than true capabilities. Commander Thompson returned to his office in the mountain base, watching the final preparations on dozens of screens. The piece of paper on his desk held the launch codes for Operation Oracle, humanity's true defense system. A system so advanced it had been kept secret even from most of Earth's own military. "Send the final alert," he ordered. "All forces to ready positions. Let's show our visitors exactly what humanity can do." Across the solar system, humanity's children prepared for the greatest revelation in their history, not as a species about to be judged, but as one ready to do the judging. The time for hiding was almost over. The alien ship appeared just beyond Mars' orbit, massive and gleaming. It made no attempt to hide its arrival, dropping out of faster-than-light travel in a brilliant flash of light. Earth's public detection systems acted surprised, setting off alerts and warnings, exactly as planned. In the Rocky Mountain Command Center, Commander Thompson watched the scene unfold. "Right on schedule," he said quietly. They loved their dramatic entrances. The alien vessel was 5 kilometers long, shaped like a silver arrow. Smaller ships flew around it in formation, a deliberate show of force. Their message was clear: "Look how advanced we are. Look how powerful." "Sir," Lieutenant Rogers reported, "they're broadcasting on all frequencies. The message is in English." Thompson nodded. "Of course it is. They want to show how much they know about us." He straightened his uniform. "Put them through." The main screen lit up, showing the alien first speaker. The being looked almost human, except for its silver skin and completely black eyes. Another intentional choice, Thompson knew. The collective always chose representatives that would seem familiar to the species they were contacting. "People of Earth," the first speaker began, its voice smooth and confident. "We are the collective, a union of advanced civilizations. We have been watching your development with great interest." Around the world, people gathered in front of screens to watch the historic broadcast. They reacted exactly as the collective expected, with awe, fear, and wonder, all carefully orchestrated. "Your species shows great potential," the first speaker continued. "However, your rapid technological advancement concerns us. For the safety of all civilizations, we must ask you to accept certain restrictions." Commander Thompson sat in the official Earth response chamber, facing the camera that would broadcast his reply to both the aliens and Earth's population. Behind him, the flags of all nations were displayed. Everything looked exactly like what a young, overwhelmed civilization would prepare for first contact. "We are honored by your presence," Thompson began, playing his role perfectly. "Earth's nations are willing to discuss these restrictions." He paused, allowing a hint of nervousness to show. "However, we would first like to demonstrate our current capabilities, so you understand our starting point." The first speaker nodded graciously, exactly as expected. The collective always allowed such demonstrations. It helped them gauge how much they needed to suppress the developing civilization. "Lieutenant," Thompson said into his hidden communicator, "activate Protocol 7. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden strength began to reveal itself. But slowly, carefully, just enough to make the collective uncomfortable, not enough to show their true power. A dozen ghost fleet ships dropped their cloaking fields near Jupiter, appearing out of nowhere. Earth's orbital platforms revealed slightly advanced weapon systems. The moon base launched a small fleet of ships that shouldn't have been possible with humanity's public level of technology." The first speaker's confident expression flickered slightly. "Impressive achievements," it said carefully. "However, they only confirm the need for restrictions. Your advancement is too rapid, too unpredictable." Thompson allowed himself a small smile. "Perhaps," he said, "before we discuss restrictions, you should know that we've been aware of your observation for quite some time." He pressed a button on his desk, sending a data packet to the alien ship. "In fact, we've been tracking your probes since they first entered our solar system." The first speaker's silver face showed genuine surprise for the first time. On their screens, Earth's leaders watched as the alien ship's sensors detected something new. The edge of humanity's quantum detection field, far more advanced than anything the collective possessed. How? The first speaker began. "We've had 50 years to prepare," Thompson said, dropping the act of nervousness. 50 years since we first detected your beacons. 50 years of hiding our true progress while we watched you test other civilizations. And now, first speaker, we have terms of our own to discuss. The massive alien ship hung in space, its escort vessels suddenly looking less impressive as hidden human installations began powering up across the solar system. The game was changing, and for the first time in its long history, the collective found itself wondering if perhaps they had made a serious mistake. The first speaker's silver face showed the first signs of real concern. More alien ships had arrived, taking up attack positions around Earth. They thought they were being threatening. Commander Thompson knew better. "Since you've chosen to respond with military force," Thompson said calmly, "allow us to show you what humanity is truly capable of." He pressed a sequence of buttons on his command console. Activate the Sol system defense grid. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The collected ships maintained their positions, weapons ready. Then, one by one, points of light began appearing throughout the solar system. Hidden installations dating back decades revealed themselves. "Impossible," the first speaker whispered. "Your technology level." "Was a lie," Thompson finished. "Computer, initiate city shield coverage." Across Earth, massive energy fields sprang to life. Every major city on the planet was suddenly protected by quantum-locked shields, technology that the collective sensors said humanity shouldn't have for another 300 years. Lieutenant Rogers checked his readings. "All shield systems operating at full power, sir. The collective's weapons couldn't scratch them if they tried." In space, more surprises awaited the alien fleet. The asteroid belt, which their scans had shown to be normal space rocks, transformed. What looked like simple mining equipment combined into massive defense platforms, creating a ring of firepower around the inner solar system. "Perhaps," Thompson continued, "you'd like to see our ghost fleet. The ships you never detected despite watching us for decades." He nodded to Captain Reed, who was standing by in the Jupiter sector. Suddenly, ships began appearing everywhere. Not dozens, but hundreds. They materialized around the collective's fleet, inside their formation, even right next to their flagship. Each human vessel was smaller than the alien ships, but their technology was clearly more advanced. "How?" the first speaker demanded. "We've been watching." "You saw what we wanted you to see," Thompson explained. "Every primitive rocket, every failed experiment, every public display of our space program, all carefully staged for your benefit." He stood up from his chair. "Would you like to see what else we've been hiding?" At that signal, Earth's true defensive capabilities activated. Dark energy projectors, hidden in the moon's craters, powered up. Quantum entanglement fields spread across the solar system, creating a web that could trap any ship trying to use faster-than-light travel. On Mars, entire sections of the red planet's surface shifted, revealing massive hangars and weapon systems. The simple research bases on Europa and Titan transformed into fortified military installations that had been ready for decades. "This is impossible," one of the collective's military commanders broke into the transmission. "No species could advance this quickly in secret." Thompson allowed himself a small smile. "We had motivation. Those beacons you left in our system, we found them 50 years ago, decoded their warnings, learned about how you test and eliminate civilizations you consider threats." He paused. "So we prepared. We hid our true progress. We let you think we were just another young species to be contained." The displays showed collective ships trying to retreat, only to find themselves unable to engage their faster-than-light drives. Earth's quantum web held them in place. "Don't worry," Thompson assured them. "We're not going to destroy your ships. That's not our way. Instead, we're going to talk about the other civilizations you've suppressed, about the ones you've destroyed, about the future of galactic civilization. In orbit around Jupiter, Captain Reed watched as more Ghost Fleet ships revealed themselves. The collective's mighty armada now looked small and surrounded. Earth's greatest deception was complete. "Sir," Lieutenant Rogers reported, "we're detecting attempts at communication between the collective fleet and their home systems." "Let them transmit," Thompson ordered. "It's time the galaxy knew that humanity isn't just another species to be conquered or controlled. We're the ones who have been waiting, watching, preparing." He turned to face the first speaker's image. "And now, we're ready to change everything." Commander Thompson stood in the main conference room of humanity's newest space station, which had just revealed itself near Mars. Across the table sat the first speaker and 3 other collective representatives, their silver faces no longer showing the confidence they had arrived with. "Now," Thompson said, activating the room's holographic display, "let's discuss what we know about the collective's true history." The display showed hundreds of star systems, each marked with a date and a status. Every civilization you've tested, every species you've judged, every culture you've destroyed. The first speaker's black eyes widened. "These records are sealed. They cannot be accessed." "Cannot be accessed." Thompson smiled. "Those beacons you left in our system didn't just warn us about you. They contained the complete history of your activities. We've spent 50 years decoding every detail." Lieutenant Rogers stepped forward, holding a data crystal. "We know about the Arcturus civilization, destroyed 300 years ago because they developed quantum communications too quickly. We know about the Proxima colonies, eliminated because they showed too much independence." A holographic display change, showing detailed records of collective operations across the galaxy. Each image was crystal clear, each date precise. Humanity had been watching, learning, and preparing. "But most importantly," Thompson continued, "we know why you do this. The real reason behind all these tests and eliminations." For the first time, real fear showed on the first speaker's face. "You cannot. You're not protecting galactic stability," Thompson said. "You're eliminating competition. Every civilization that shows too much promise, that advances too quickly, they're not threats to peace. They're threats to your control." The display showed more evidence. Trade records, resource distributions, power structures. The collective wasn't a union of advanced civilizations. It was an empire, maintaining its power by preventing any other species from reaching its level. Captain Reed entered the room, bringing more data from the Ghost Fleet's long-range scans. "Sir, we've confirmed the locations of all 17 collective suppression fleets. They're exactly where our intelligence said they would be." Thompson nodded. "You see, we didn't just prepare our own defenses. We've been watching your entire operation. We know about the civilizations you're currently testing, the ones you're planning to eliminate." One of the other collective representatives stood up angrily. "You cannot prove any of this." "Actually, we can." Thompson pressed another button. The display showed thousands of tiny probes hidden throughout collective space. "We've been gathering evidence for decades. Every order you've given, every civilization you've threatened, every ship you've sent, we have it all recorded." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just protected itself, it had built a case against the collective's entire system of control. "Here's what's going to happen," Thompson said, his voice firm but calm. "You're going to withdraw your forces from every developing civilization. You're going to acknowledge their right to advance at their own pace, and you're going to face the consequences of your actions." "Or what?" the first speaker asked, trying to sound defiant. Thompson's expression hardened. "Or we release everything. Every record, every proof of your crimes, sent to every species in the galaxy. How long do you think your control would last then?" The evidence was undeniable. Humanity's hidden probes had recorded it all. secret meetings, suppression orders, the true purpose behind their tests. The collective's greatest weapon had always been secrecy, and humanity had stripped that away. "We don't want to destroy you," Thompson said, his voice softening slightly. "Unlike you, we believe in cooperation, in letting civilizations grow naturally. But we will not allow you to continue destroying potential allies just to maintain your power." Outside the station's windows, Earth's Ghost Fleet maintained its position around the collective ships. But now those ships didn't look threatening. They looked trapped, exposed, revealed for what they truly were. The first speaker looked at the evidence one more time, then at Thompson. The choice was clear: adapt or be exposed. The hunter had become the hunted, and humanity held all the cards. 1 month after the confrontation, Commander Thompson stood at his familiar window in the Rocky Mountain base, watching the sunrise. The world had changed dramatically since the collective's retreat, but not in the way anyone had expected. "Sir," Lieutenant Rogers said, entering the office with a data pad, "we're receiving more requests for protection. 3 more civilizations have reached out through the quantum network." Thompson nodded, unsurprised. Since Earth had revealed the truth about the collective, developing species across the galaxy had started looking for a new protector. They found one in humanity. "How many does that make now?" Thompson asked, though he already knew the answer. 27 civilizations have formally requested Earth's protection," Rogers replied. Most of them were on the collective's elimination list. The massive screen on Thompson's wall showed the status of Earth's new defensive network. The Ghost Fleet had expanded, with new ships being built using openly shared technology. The quantum shield system now protected not just Earth, but a dozen other worlds. Captain Reed's face appeared on the communication screen. She was now commanding Earth's first official diplomatic vessel. "Commander, you'll want to see this. The Arcturus civilization, the one we thought the collective had destroyed. We found survivors. They've been hiding in deep space for 300 years. This was the most rewarding part of humanity's new role. Every week, they discovered more survivors, more hidden populations that had escaped the collective's purges. Earth had become a beacon of hope, a promise of protection. The collective's withdrawal is complete," Rogers reported. "Their last suppression fleet just returned to their core systems. Our probes confirmed they're dismantling their testing programs." Thompson walked to the central command table, where a holographic map showed the changed galaxy. The collective's territory had shrunk considerably, now limited to their original systems. In their place, new alliances were forming, young civilizations working together under Earth's protective umbrella. "What about Project Oracle?" Thompson asked. "Still our best achievement," Rogers said proudly. "No other civilization has managed to crack quantum shielding at our level. The defensive grid is being adapted for use by other worlds." The door opened, and Dr. White entered, carrying new technical reports. "The knowledge-sharing program is exceeding expectations," he announced. "These younger civilizations, their innovation rate is incredible now that they're free to develop naturally." Thompson picked up a small piece of the original warning beacon, kept on his desk as a reminder. "They were right about one thing," he said. "Humanity's development was dangerous. To them. Not because we were violent, but because we saw through their lies." Outside, the morning sun lit up the mountain peaks. Around the world, humanity went about their daily lives, now aware of their species' true place in the galaxy. They weren't just another civilization to be tested and judged. They had become guardians, protectors, teachers. "New report from the Diplomatic Corps," Rogers said, reading from his screen. "The Alliance of Free Worlds Charter is ready for signing. 27 civilizations have already agreed to join." Thompson smiled. This was what humanity had really been preparing for, not just to defend themselves, but to create something new. A true alliance of equals, where each species could develop at its own pace, protected by Earth's advanced technology and united vision. "Send the final authorization," Thompson ordered, "and contact the Arcturus survivors. Tell them they can come home. We'll help them rebuild." As the sun climbed higher, Thompson reflected on how far they'd come. Humanity had turned from the hunted to the hunters, and then chosen to be something better, guardians of freedom and progress. The warning beacons that had started it all now stood silent, their purpose served. They had warned humanity of a threat, but in doing so, they had helped create something greater, a new future for all species. The first speaker's final words before leaving came back to him. "We thought we were testing you. Instead, you were judging us." Earth had passed a test no one knew they were taking, and the galaxy was better for it. The age of the collective was over. The era of humanity had begun.